Delhi every month, and some of my Delhi colleagues are also here. And I was sharing that what a calming and wonderful experience it is. I wait every month to come to Sikkim. I don't know of how much I have been able to, enable learning with the principals and the teachers, but it's been a great learning experience for me personally. So I feel wonderful to be here moderating this panel. I believe we have about an hour, would that be correct? Yeah, so we thought we'll divide that time beginning with brief sharings from all the panelists, and then followed up with a couple of questions. I have a very interesting position here today. Normally moderators are not people who would have facilitated the panelists. So it's interesting for me, and I've been thinking of how do I keep that distance of, this is like my family, and still be able to moderate. So the second part we'll go and I'll try and sort of open up with some questions that have been on my mind as well over the past year, the learnings that have happened. And then I'd like Doma ma'am to start sharing. We'll alternate between principals and teachers. And thank you.
Very good afternoon to all present here today. I would like to share my learnings about EQUIP. The first offsite training of EQUIP in Delhi, that was in February 2016, was an eye-opener. It leads me to introspect on my role as a principal, a leader of an institution. For the first time, we realized the importance of creating a shared vision, involving all the stakeholders in the development of the school. The process began with motivating the teachers, the students, parents, and the community. After many discussions and meetings, we framed the shared vision. The vision is a result of collaboration of all the stakeholders. Creating a shared vision has binded us together towards a common goal. The task of transforming the school system has not been easy. It has its own challenges, which we are gradually overcoming. With the learning from EQUIP, we have been able to change the mindset of all the stakeholders involved in the school to a certain extent, not fully, but to a certain extent. Tadong school has been seen significant changes in every field of work. As a result of the learning sessions, there is a change in the work culture. We are able to renew interest in teaching. Our reflective sessions has enabled us to evaluate ourselves in our work. It has filled us with new enthusiasm to improve for the better. We have become more open to learning, and we have started doing things differently. Besides, the group learning sessions have helped us to connect with my teachers, my students, and all the community members as well. We have been focusing on self-development of teachers, which has led to self-work, discovering one's interests, talents, and most importantly, led to professional development. We have also tried to bring a lot of changes in the teaching learning process on our own. We are gradually trying to replace the traditional method by activity-based and child-centric and friendly manner. We have also introduced certain innovative practices like teacher peer observation, peer teaching for the professional development of teachers. We have also a professional learning community where we work on lessons, how to transact that efficiently and in an interesting way. It has created a platform for teachers to share their experiences, challenges, and work on possible solutions. And the most important thing is what EQUIP has really done to me is that self-development has taken place, not only in me, but also my teachers, my students, and I believe that self-development will really lead to professional development. And the next important thing which I've learned is self-reflection. So when we realize what we have done today and we go and reflect and try to do better next time, I think that will really help in the improvement of the school. So on the whole, I feel that has certainly equipped us to transform the education system of Sikkim to give it a new look and achieve the desired goal for the holistic development of the children. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doma ma'am. She's been very modest when she shared. She's done some wonderful work in the school, and I hope during the panel discussion we'll hear a little more about some of the new practices that Doma ma'am has started in the school. Can I request Abichandran to please share, and also to mention your school? I'm not sure everybody's aware of which school you're from.
Hello everybody, and thanks to Meg. Now, working as a member of the EQUIP, which is a galaxy of learning people, has been a wonderful privilege and a wonderful experience for me. And now I'm especially focusing upon what I have learned as a member of this EQUIP, having conversation, sharing with so many learning personals, and also the experience of visiting different schools in Delhi also. So overall, I have got the immense importance of sharing the ideas with our friends, our colleagues in the school. I learned really that we can grow together by sharing our areas of confidence, our areas of innovations, and the areas of difficulties also. This is one of the wonderful experience I got through this. And I also learned the value of appreciation. Unless we appreciate the good works of our colleagues, our students, and every member we interact or come to work together with, we cannot grow together, we cannot open up to each other. And this appreciation gives encouragement to our friends, and they do their best if so. I realized this thing, and I also realized earlier I used to feel that to call the friends, colleagues together, holding a meeting, having discussion on any of the topics, even on EQUIP, etc. I need principal here. Principal need to call, then I shall tell. But now, working as a member of EQUIP, slowly I gain the confidence that yeah, we can do it even in the absence of principal. Even I can call my colleagues, even I can make my friends share their ideas, and rather I realize that friends better open up in the absence of principal rather than the presence of principal. So it is more comfortable to have some sessions. I got that realization. And I also learned one thing, that winning the confidence of the learners, of the children, in helping solve children's problem, it is I realize that it's very, very important to win their confidence. If they are at distance, if they hear that if something is disclosed to me, it will become wider a problem, then they will not open up with me. So I realize that winning the confidence of the learners will really help them solve problems. We can understand them better, and it will be better coordination between the teacher and the learners also. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been wonderful. Every session we would have, these sharings where the principals, like Shantiram sir mentioned, there were parallel sessions happening with principals as well as the teacher facilitators. But we often came together to, look at how that relationship is building itself within the school. And wonderful to hear some of those very authentic. So, like I said, every time coming back to Sikkim made me feel and see how authentic people are of the place, and that itself is huge learning. Can I now request Archana ma'am from the Jorethang school to share?
Good afternoon. My journey with EQUIP actually began in the month of February 2016, and when I joined there, my vice principal and my TF, they had already attended an off-site workshop in Delhi. So they, after coming back from there, they already had a session with all the staff. So when I joined the school, then my vice principal and my TF, they sat me down and they told me, like, they explained to me and like what all it is about and what we have to do. And after that, again, we started having discussions and sessions with our teachers on a regular basis. And then one of the first things that we had to do was to have our school's vision. And for that also we had sessions with teachers, with students, with SMCs, with parents also. And it took us a lot of time. It took us about 5-6 months to get a vision ready, because it's very easy to say that we have a vision. Easy to say, make a vision or something like that, but it's very difficult to make it because everybody had ideas. And to incorporate those ideas and to make it into a meaningful, achievable vision was what was most important. And so we came up with a vision that is an institution that is committed to academic excellence and integrity. So we sort of, in this short sentence, we tried to incorporate everything. We wanted the students to be not only excel in academics, but also have moral values, to be a complete human being, like it was said in the first session also. So, and then that vision was then broken down into missions and goals and action plans and how we would sort of really implement it. But frankly speaking, everything was not very easy. It was not a very easy task to do. It took some time to get everybody on board, because every individual is different. They are designed to think in a certain manner, to act in a certain manner. So it took some time, and by interacting with them, my TF was interacting on his personal level with the teachers, with the staff, with the non-teaching. Even the non-teaching staff were brought into the loop. Because when we talk about improvement in learning, then we cannot leave any part of the school behind. So non-teaching staff were also there. So then gradually that culture started building up, and it was sort of, we were very perseverant. I and my TF were very perseverant, and although sometimes it is not easy, like I said, and in a big school like Jorethang, where there were about 80 plus staff, it was difficult. So, but we persevered. And the group learning sessions that we were attending, they were very helpful. Sometimes we would get deflated a bit, but then we would come to this group learning sessions where we would learn so many things about personal development, like Doma madam touched upon, and we would share our problems with our colleagues, which we rarely get to do as principals. So we were sitting and we were sharing our problems, and trying to solve our problems, each other's problems. Then even we were sharing the good things that were happening. So that was a very good thing. And then we used to take it back to our schools with our teachers. And then slowly we started bringing the teachers into confidence. They started seeing that this was something very serious was happening, and everybody is required to be a change agent to transform learning at school. So then community also played a big role. We had a lot of help from the community last year. This year also community has helped us a lot, and now there are positive changes. In academics we see, yes, there is an improvement, and if you see other activities, co-curricular activities, other activities, students are actively participating, and we are in fact doing well. And so that has sort of really motivated all of us, even the staff, even the teachers. We all can see that if we all work together as a team, if we think as one, then we can, nothing is impossible. So that is what we have done. We have done a lot of things. And then what I have learned from Equip, from all these things, is that first of all, the first thing that is that we have to work as a team. We cannot work as individuals alone, as separate entities. We have to work as a team. We have to have a vision. Because if we do not have a vision, then no matter how hard we work, everything will be haywire, and we should know actually what our actions are leading to. And then we had this off-site workshop, off-site retreat in Delhi in the month of December. And there we got to visit schools, We went to, I and Doma madam, we were in a group, we went to 2 different schools. One was Muni International, which was again a revelation. It was not a very, what do you call it, expensive, like, I mean that kind of a school, but the teachers over there in that school, we were very surprised to see that they were facilitating, they were facilitators in the classroom. The students, they had their exercises, everything, contents in a tab, and they were doing, they were teaching each other, there was peer teaching going on. And when we were visiting the classrooms, it was not that some teacher was leading us or some student was leading us. We were free to go to any class because everything was happening in such an orderly manner. Then we went to another government school, and what we saw is the problems that they are facing there with the students is, I think, almost the same that we are facing here. Whether we talk about drugs, whether we talk about absenteeism, or these things were there. And then when we shared, and they really appreciated when we shared that we have this teacher guardian, concept here at school, and they were so, surprised, and they were so, they appreciated it a lot. So we have been doing, things like that, and the group learning session, like I said, is very helpful. It is not that, what I have learned till now, because learning, it never stops. I'm still learning. And I'm very thankful actually to HRD and to Equip PMU also, that they are giving us an opportunity to grow as individuals as well. Thank you, that's all.
Archana man's school, I'd like him to also share about his journey.
See, first thing first is the entire journey with the Equip program has been wonderful, and also has been painful because the transition from being a teacher confined to a classroom and then going towards the entire length and breadth of the school, connecting with teachers has been quite painful for me. But right now I can say I've learned a lot, and the learning has been very, very deep. See, we work in a school where this is very obvious because we work in a school where we have to interact with different set of teachers in school who have different belief systems. And based on those belief systems, they have different levels of motivation in school. So as a TF, it's very difficult to bring all the teachers on board, right? And now, because of all the sessions that we have under Equip programs and to that, I'm trying to replicate the same idea in the school and then try to bring all these teachers on board, understanding and identifying their role and their level of motivation. And it's more on a personal growth is, I think I become more reflective as a person, because sometimes I do things in school which is very based on instinct and gut, right? I don't do things, and I don't give a lot of thought to what I do in school. But because of the sessions that we did in Equip, I now go home and reflect on what are my actions, what are my roles as a TF in school. And the good thing is about the Equip is like the 8 schools are changing in one way or the other. And my research person, Madhubam, she said me this at the end of one session is that, again, changes do not happen overnight, right? Changes do take place gradually. And I firmly believe this because the changes have started happening on school in bits and pieces and in increments. And I think if you are sincere in your effort and consistent in your hard work, I think this all will add up and give you a bigger picture as a school. Thank you.
How beautifully you shared about how those changes happen. Even the small things that happen, I think, for the person who's experiencing it, it's very important to be able to appreciate that. Can I now request Yangden, who's come all the way from Gyalshing School, to share about her learnings.
Good afternoon to everyone out here. I am a teacher facilitator of Government Girls Senior Secondary School Gyalshing, and I've been with Equip from that 2016 Delhi offsite retreat. The journey has been beautiful, like everybody has been saying. The beginning, if you have to say, everybody's been starting with that Delhi offsite. Delhi offsite was an overwhelming experience for us actually. We are here and then we are looking at each other only. We schools, we teachers, I can't say about principals, but then we teachers, some government teachers. So we look at each other and then we try to, we are within our world only. But when we went to Delhi and when we were given exposure to these various schools, which are probably of our own level, our own standard, they are not like private, they are not like, highly funded school kind of thing, but still the way they are managing, the way the children are developing and blossoming, it was overwhelming for us. So we were taken to the big group, all equip members, big group, we were taken to different schools on the first day. We were taken to observe the class of Teach for India. Then some of us were taken to Mini International, some of us were taken to Jorethang. And when we came back again, then I can say that such a, it was so loud, everybody was like, you could not shut each other's mouth. Everybody wanted to share, everybody, it was overwhelming. So then what we learned from that is that nothing is impossible. Me as a TF, me as a teacher, I've been in this profession for the last 14 years now. And I used to think about the welfare student, this, that, everything. I'm quite a serious kind of teacher. So I have been thinking of this kind of, platform in a school where we can share, the teachers can sit down and share. Otherwise we have meetings in school, but we have certain agendas, and then we quickly we discuss all those agendas, and then we don't have time to share with each other what's going on in each other's classroom, this, that system is not there with us. But now this eGroup has given us that platform, and that's very, very beautiful. And I believe all of us are growing, not only us, but all of us are growing. So, like I said, let me come back again, nothing is impossible. Most importantly, we need to believe in our children. That is what I learned. If we believe in our children, and then we plan, and then we follow up, then I think nothing is impossible. That's what I've learned. Personally, of course, there's been huge transformation. Right now, I'm sitting in front of so many dignitaries and heads of the schools and many teachers. Probably 2 years back, I would not have been able to speak like this in front of everybody. Now you can see the personality this one. I have many people here in the observers, let me call it, who knows me, and probably they must also have seen the huge change in me in these last 2 years. So, there's so many things that will go on and on. I think it'll take the other sessions also. So let me stop here, but then more or less, I think all of us, we have sort of summed up. It's a beautiful experience. I think when it goes on to the other, a little bit of connection about me with my friends. Like I said, I always wanted this kind of platform. And now that Equip has given us an excuse to sit down and exchange ideas with each other and all, subject-wise, teachers sitting together and discussing each other's methodology and all. And then other things also, what's happening in each other's class? How do you handle the kids? All these kind of things. Now it's quite open. We tend to, we discuss with each other openly. But there was one issue. There was, in our school, I'm talking about my school, everybody complained of not having a proper coordination. Now, wherever I am, they will be sharing, but wherever I am not there, then they will not be sharing. So then I used to share with everybody, but when I'm not there, then I think sharing was not going on. So the big issue was time. When do we all sit down together and when do we share and do all the interesting activities that we do when we come for this, our GLS, our Equip GLS. We wanted to take it back and do it in the school, but we did not usually get time. So that is why what to do it, how to go about that. And this year, something concrete came up. And these days we are using our Saturdays to do this. All the teachers, we sit together, TFs. We have 2 TFs now in our school, me and this one was her. And then our vice principal ma'am is the leader. Ma'am attends the Equip GLS as the head of the school. And all 3 of us, we conduct sessions and all. And we can also see quite a lot of changes within our friends also, only. I talked about belief in students. I don't want to tell the name of one of my colleagues, but he was that kind of teacher who used to sort of, be always angry with students and not satisfied. When he used to be not satisfied, they would scold the children and all. Few years back, when we sat for the thing, he was the one who said that we should believe in our students. We should not say that they can't do it. and I was really, really happy with that. So that's been my growth and development and this beautiful journey. Thank you.
It was interesting, I thought, for me to hear about how moving away from meetings which are more task-oriented to looking at how, you know, a community begins to form where you do share about who at the core of who you are, what excites you, what are your challenges. So little small beginnings. Thank you, Yangden. Sekhar sir, it's been wonderful to have him in our group learning sessions. I remember meeting him in Delhi and you know, such a keen learner and asking wonderful questions in the group itself. I've sort of seen him, you know, get into that role of a facilitator completely. So there's been a lot of learning. I'd like him to share as well about the past year that we've been together.
Thank you, Bidisha ma'am. Hello everyone. Well, I was a little new to GRIP as compared to the rest of the team because I joined pretty late when GRIP was already 1 year old or maybe 6-7 months old. But the learnings, as everyone is saying, were immense and huge. What I'd like to say is in this transition from you know, a kind of tribal life to the digital life, which is called as the fourth industrial revolution, and where the keynote speaker of the day rightly pointed out that 30% of the employability has already been eaten up by artificial intelligence even today, and maybe like things will become even worse in the days to come. We cannot rely on certificate-oriented education. That's why ICUB has come up with this idea of rethinking school systems. And in that quest, my role was that of a facilitator. And my learning as a facilitator was, you know, to have unflinching faith that things can happen. It gave us a platform where we were neither less important or more important, but equally important. This was the message which was given in all those meetings, and it aroused a hope, like someone was saying, that things can happen. Talking about facilitating skills, actually facilitation is a huge topic, and things which we learned were, I think, only small drops in the ocean. But even then, if I have to like highlight point-wise, then the first one was the listening skill. We usually listen to retort back, to answer back. We don't usually listen to understand. So through all those facilitation sessions, what we learned was we have to listen to understand rather than to reply back. That was the first learning. The second one was managing self. How to go from the reactive stage to the responsive stage. Reactive stage means driven by control or driven by task, to a responsive stage which means driven by hope, belief and objective. Then the third one is managing the group. Coordination, how to bring about a coordination, how to agree to disagree, because everybody has ideas, but how to incorporate the best part of everybody's ideas. How to develop communities, how to develop professional learning communities, as Saji said. Those were the learnings. Then verbal communication. I think Sir said appreciation and a lot of other things. Similarly, non-verbal communications like gestures. After that, the most crucial part, giving feedback and receiving feedback. Because once you start something, feedbacks will come. But how will you receive those feedbacks? Or how will create a system through which you receive feedbacks. The creation of what we used to call a strong feedback loop. For example, there was a cycle, plan, do, check, a kind of reflective exercise which everybody had to undergo, and where questions like what was created, what was your learning, what worked and what didn't work were actually discussed. This was also a stage where we moved from individual accountability to mutual accountability. Instead of holding a single person accountable, how to be mutually accountable for things which are happening in the ecosystem, school's ecosystem. Then finally, the eighth stage, which was the synthesis, where we learned how to plan. Planning means what, why, when, who, where, when, and how things will be done. And after that, contextualization, and finally, setting up of goals. Not goals, smart goals. So, in a nutshell, I have tried to define everything which were discussed, though I could not touch all the things in detail, but I think these were the learnings. Thank you so much.
So many questions on my mind, I'm sure on yours as well. So I'll just start and then we'll take questions from the audience. I wanted to come back to something that Doma ma'am shared about being reflective, and she shared that for her itself, self-reflection was a way for her to really understand and move ahead and work in the school. So, for any learning to happen, the process of reflection, we all know that is very, very important. I was wondering, Doma ma'am, if you want to share about, have you tried that with your teachers, the community in the school? Can you share anything of how you actually, your own experience of reflecting and then, the action being driven by that reflection, you've been able to take it within the community?
For the teachers, every Friday we have a group learning session where we start the session with the reflective questions. And so these questions allow the teachers also to introspect and see what they are actually doing in the classroom and whether they are doing it in a right way or they have to improve, or sometimes when teachers share also we give feedbacks. So in this way I think the teachers also they are introspecting in their own work also. And for the communities also, earlier we just used to have a common type of teacher and school parents meeting. Parents used to come, sit, and we used to talk about the things in the school, what is happening, and usually most of the time we complain about the students, but now we are trying to do things differently. So in the parents meeting also, we are showing them motivational videos, how parents' involvement is very important for the child's growth and the role of parents. So just having simple talks. Now we are having very interactive sessions. So this kind of short video clips also, there's a kind of reflection among the parents as well.
Would you like to share about how also, I know that there's been peer teaching in the school as well as teachers observing each other and then some reflection happening. How has that been? What's the experience been like?
Before we started with this peer observation, we had a demonstration class where we involved all the teachers, subject-wise, to go and observe the classroom. So that was the first demonstration class. And later on, more teachers were involved and they were interested. And so we said a subject, according to their subjects, they go and sit in their friend's class. So in that way, each other is observing and learning from each other. The teacher, they themselves give feedback, and later observation because everyone has taken it positively and each one is trying to improve and learn from each other. So as such, there's no misunderstanding among the teachers as well.
Thank you. A question that is for all the teacher facilitators, and I think all three mentioned about how challenging it has been to reach out to all the teachers in the school. Would any of you like to share what are the kind of core qualities that you've experienced which are necessary to connect? Maybe as a teacher you could share about connecting with students, and is it different when you connect with adults in the school?
I have to put on the points how to develop that among the teachers or even with the students is that sharing one's own, suppose strong areas, weak areas, or one's own experiences. Naturally, it invites others to also share their ideas. And all of this one.
In my school, we have around 80 teachers, and it's very difficult to go and interact with all the teachers in a single sitting. So what I've done is I have divided the entire school into small circles of groups. Like I have 3 groups in school. We have pre-primary, we have primary teachers, and then we have secondary and high secondary teachers, right? So if I do that in multiple sessions, it's very convenient for me to go and talk to them at also the group level and also at the individual level. And regarding students, it's something I've learned, and it's very personal to me is, as a teacher, we always have this tendency as a teacher to always talk about success stories in the classroom. But I always make it a point in the classroom that I also talk about my stories of how I felt as a student, as a teenage, as an adult. And that has helped a lot in many dimensions in the classroom. There has been an example I'd like to share is, in the classroom one day, I could not teach properly because I was in a panic, I was in a rush, right? So one student, she called me after school and she said, are you okay, Nagen sir? And I said, why? And she said, today we did not understand anything you taught, right? And I said, why? And she said, because your face, that glow in your face was missing while you were teaching. And I think this has happened. This connect with the student has happened because they trust me a lot. Why? Because I share my stories, my very, very personal stories with them. And that is the reason I feel it's very important to connect with students first. And I think learning happens after that.
Well, to hear how vulnerability itself is a way to connect with each other. Yangden, would you like to share your experience?
Usually we teachers, we just spend our time in the class with the students and then we go out. We are in a hurry to leave the class. Now this I learned in Teach for India class. Last year when we went, I saw there the Teach for India. The teacher was with the students even during the lunch break, and she knew the children, all the children. She could connect with all the children. So no time, the amount of time she spent with the children. Of course, that one teacher is teaching a whole subject with the child. She knows the level of learning of all the children. And then even in the breaks also, where we teachers, I believe, we think that it is our right to enjoy a break. But that teacher is staying with the students and like she's interacting with the child and like she's enjoying the time with the children. That I took back with me. And then even if I can't stay in the class during the short break, lunch break, whatever, I call the children to the staff room. If they do not come to me, then I go to them. So I have also told them to keep the communication open. I always tell my children to please keep the communication open. If there's any problem, please do come, let me know. If they do not come to me, then I go and I talk to them. What is it? If anything was wrong, straight away, like no scolding, no punishment, nothing. Me as a teacher, I'm talking about me as a teacher. First, I try to find out what exactly had happened, why, what was the state of mind of the child, all those kind of things. And now, that day I started doing that only after I visited the TFI class. And now it has like sort of, it has broken the the thin wall between me and my students. I think my students understand me better, I understand my students better now. So connection is much more better now. And same goes with my friends also. I try to understand my friends, I talk to them. And then, like what Nagen just mentioned, that his student called him up and asked him and all. Nothing with me, though my students have never called and asked or whatever, but I do call up my colleagues, even after I come back home. I call them if there's something wrong. I mean, I saw something different, then I have to call them and then, So there's a little bit of personal touch these days, because of which that the communication is open now. Communication is open up, that is how I'm being able to reach them. Of course, I can't say that in this 2 years I've reached everybody, of course I've not. I've not been able to touch everybody, reach everybody out, but whomsoever I've been able to influence or touch or whatever as a TF, I've been able to do that through that process. Thank you.
A question for Archana ma'am. I visited your school, and I mean, not to say that yours is the only school where there are lots of challenges, but as a principal, you do have to think on your feet, and I'm sure there are a lot of challenges that come up pretty much daily. How have you coped with it? What has helped you? What kind of reflections have helped you cope with that and manage your time better, look at the priorities of your role better?
Well, yes, like any other government school, even my school has some challenges. The first challenge, actually, if I have to speak of, is our school is right in the middle of settlement, and we do not have a boundary wall, and there is easy access to the school from everywhere, and so that is one challenge that was really bugging us. And it also again encouraged the students to sort of go away. Those things are happening. So community, like I said, and the teachers, they have been a big support where that is concerned. There were many issues, but slowly, gradually, we are addressing it. Now, when this, like Bidisha ma'am, she had come to our school with Madhu madam once, and I mean, they must have been shocked to see, people with all kinds of hairstyles and clothes, walking in the school campus unhurriedly. So it is really quite, it is very difficult. But what we did is, we took the help of neighbors also, and we had a sort of a negotiation with the neighbors of one side. We have sort of, given them a footpath, and they have built a boundary wall for us there. So at least from there, because there were unsocial elements also who were passing from there, and some, shady business was also going on near the school. So that has stopped. And yes, there have been cases when, especially like when there are games periods, and we had these groups of boys who would sit there at the end of the, at one corner of the ground and maybe tease students and all. But for that, we have taken the help of the police, so the police is there and doing the patrolling, etc. And and regarding time management, we had done this in one group learning session. We had done this exercise on time management. What we feel is, what I also keep saying is, and what I hear other principals also, that we don't have time. I mean, most of our time is taken up with work, with school work, this work, that work, and then we forget other important things in our lives. We forget our family takes a back seat, and everything is school, work, and then we say WhatsApp has made things easier, we are getting messages any time of the day, and this thing has to be done, that thing has to be done. So we did this time quadrant, and I sort of, I have delegated responsibilities to my teachers. I cannot be everywhere, I cannot put my finger on everything. So delegation is so important, and in every discipline or in every activity, the teachers, they know their responsibility, and I mean in a way that the teachers are empowered to, they know like what they have to do, and they do it, and I give them them their own space, and that way I get time to do the other work that I have to attend to, the administration work, etc. And that is, I think.
Thank you. Before I open up for the audience, just one question for Sekhar sir. Very curious, what does it really mean to be a leader? And do you think, is it possible for us here in Sikkim to actually create many more leaders within the ecosystem? And how do you think we are on the process of doing that?
Thank you for asking this question, ma'am, because my perspective of what a leader actually is, a school leader I mean, has changed greatly after your sessions with you. As I said earlier, before I came to this equip thing, I used to feel that I am the more important person in the school ecosystem, because my order will be obeyed by everyone or something like that. Because that's what a head usually is and does. But after attending these facilitation sessions with Creatnet, what I understood was like no one is less important, no one is more important, but everyone is equally important. Because alone, a head or anybody who is at the helm of the affair cannot do much. It is only by collaboration, it is only by proper coordination that we can really do things. So a leader can be anyone. Even sometimes a person who is working as a Safai Karmachari can be a leader, isn't it? Because we have heard the famous Martin Luther King's thing that even if you are someone cleaning the street, then clean it so well that even if the gods are watching for heaven, then he or she should say that, oh, go and see, I mean, how well this guy is cleaning the street. So everybody can be a leader, ma'am. This is the learning I got. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts. I'd like to open it up to the audience. We have a wonderful panel of people who have tried different things. I'm sure you're all wanting to ask the questions. May I start with you?
Yeah. This is the first time I'm listening to the whole panel of teachers. I've always been listening to the experts and the resource person. I have a few queries to each of the panelists. First is Madam, I'll put the questions and they can reply to me afterwards. Madam Zimba, you have started peer observation, and I would like to, it is out of curiosity, actually, I would like to know what are the difficulties did you face when you started the peer observation? Because I had the experience working in government schools in Sikkim, and I know certain difficulties. Now, speaking to Archana Madam, you are the head of institution and you're quite honest in talking about the difficulties. And EQUIP is a program, and it is in the process to be the part of the school system. But it is it is working as a program now. Do you think, to be honest, do the teacher take it as a burden, and how do you handle it? Nagen, Mr. Nagen, it was nice listening to a young teacher, very encouraging. I would like to know how did you handle the difficulties that you had collaborating the others that you shared in the first. I can imagine one is you are a young person. How did you handle the adults? I was imagining you must have had a difficult time in that. That's it. These are the 4 queries. Thank you so much.
Regarding peer observation, I didn't start it immediately. So first there was a lot of motivation sessions. So I think nearly a year of motivation sessions and group learning sessions made us connect with each other. So there was a very friendly and good relationship that was developed in the school. So later on, what I did was, we didn't start the peer observation immediately. So I should say like a demonstration class was set up. So all the teachers were invited to observe the demonstration class, and I told them that this kind of peer observation is not to criticize or give all the bad points only. Like this peer observation class is to help each other. So like that, they took it in a very positive way. So after the demonstration class, slowly we started with 1 or 2 teachers. Then I started getting feedbacks. Ma'am, it's a very good thing because we are sharing, we are learning from each other. We have forgotten so many things, but we are learning from each other. So these kinds of feedbacks were given by each and every teacher. So slowly, the peer observation spread among all the teachers. So that I didn't start in the beginning with the primary section, but later on when we shared in the group learning sessions, the primary sections also told me, ma'am, we'll start in the primary section also. So there was a positive feeling about this peer observation. So slowly, now it's going on positively in the whole school.
Were there any teachers who not be, there are introverts, a lot of introverts people, according to research, every third person are introverts, they don't want to share. Were there any teachers who were pretty introverted, and what strategy did you adopt to handle such teachers?
Yes, in the beginning, there are many teachers like that. And I suggested that, like, it's not only the good teachers going and observing the weak teachers, it's the other way also. So I told them, like, for example, I asked an English PGT to go and observe GT English class. And first, the English PGT teacher said, ma'am, like, she's quite, like, introvert, odd. I feel bad to go and observe a class. But then I changed my strategy. I told her, so you don't go. The teacher who is introvert, she'll go and observe your class. So in that way, she came and told me, like, ma'am, how will I go and observe a PGT class? I said, go. So nothing will happen because we have to learn from each other. So there was a positive feeling, and they didn't mind going to each other's class. So in that way, the different strategies are taken.
Ma'am, the question was, do teachers take equip as a burden? Equip program as a burden. Okay. Well, like I said earlier, you know, like it was not easy in the beginning to sort of make everybody think in the same line, because there have been so many programs, there have been so many activities and clubs in schools. And maybe initially, although they did not tell me as such, but maybe, I mean, I could feel that maybe they were taking it as some sort of a club or some sort of activity that they have to do. The teachers are assigned with some duty and they have to do certain activities in a year. So it took some time to, really get them to get rid of those kind of thinking, thoughts that were coming in their mind. Because what is equip? Equip is actually, it is the whole culture that has to be developed in a school. We are talking about improving the learnings, improving the quality of learning in schools. And that is actually what teachers are there for. The only thing is that now the good thing is that equip, when we made them realize that equip is not asking them to do something extra, but asking them to do the same things that they are doing, but in a better manner, by giving them by giving them trainings like mathematics, like in Jorethang. Teachers, they had these concerns where students are not doing well in these subjects, they're not doing well in mathematics or in English. So equip, when they came and when they started helping these teachers with mathematics and now recently in English with storytelling. So what they have now realized is that equip is actually empowering them. Equip is actually really developing them. It is not that they have to do something extra, they have to do something burden, but they have to do the same thing a little differently. So my teachers do not have to work more than the time that is allotted to them. They are coming to the school for the same number of hours, they are doing the same number of periods. The thing is now that earlier there was teaching as individuals. They had the challenges which was with them only. But with equip, they have learned to share. We have sessions now. We have group learning sessions at our schools where teachers teaching the same subjects in the same classroom, they are sitting together. They are really deliberating on, what are the challenges they are facing. And they are even coming up with solving the problems themselves. They are coming up, they are telling us, we have these sessions where they talk about the challenges, then they sort of how we can help them, how the department can help them, how I as a principal can help them, how as a TF can help them. So this way the brainstorming is going on and a positive environment is building up. So that change has come. Earlier the thinking must have been different, but now the teachers know that this is not something extra that they have to do.
So I think your question was regarding the age difference between me and the teachers.
No, but you were a young TF, and how did you coordinate the adults? Because there is a problem. Being a young TF, how did you handle the problem?
Yeah, I think the teachers elder than me, right, they have this notion that young teachers don't listen, right? But the remedy for the entire thing for me would be to listen to them more and more. So once I started listening to them more and more, their challenges, right, and they have started trusting me more. So I think the only remedy would be to listen more to them, because they do have a lot of years of experience to share, and also various inputs in different parts of the school. So I think listening would be, I think, the most important thing to do as a young teacher.
Was it listening and also giving a sense of responsibility to them? Was it?
Yeah. See, what happens in school is, I mean, the older teachers, they are reluctant to be in a group, right? So now, right now, I have not touched upon those teachers who are least motivated. I have a smaller circle in school where I have taken teachers who are self-driven, teachers who require a little bit of push in their motivation. So I am forming small circles so that I can build a better team. And in the coming years, I am thinking maybe I can take all these facilitation skills through them to the other small circles in school, so that it has a cascading effect in the long run. So that's what I thought.
In this connection, how to connect with all the people, maybe the seniors or some are not motivated, not involved in the group. What I did in my context is, as I found that if I begin myself with the whole, then it will be difficult for me bringing them together. So I basically took those who were commanding among the group. Since it's a big school, last number of staff, so I chose those who have better hold in the group. And I talked with them personally. And I convinced them. And I found later that they walked. And by this way, all of them came together and it helped me a lot.
Can I ask in relation to that? Because attitude forms over a period of time. And these older teachers that you have in schools have developed certain attitudes, and you're coming with new thinking. And how did you touch upon that and changing that attitude? Because it takes time to change.
What I understood is that it was not actually that they had the other type of attitude, but they were not convinced of the purpose actually. I convinced what I said, the stronger one, those having the hold over the group, I convinced them of the purpose and they got motivated very, very easily.
And another very important thing that I forgot during my sharing thing is that, and that is, I believe, like all of us will this one agree to this, that, and I think it will be little, like, I'll be addressing what the last question was about also. Before equip, again I'll come back to you. Before equip, all of us we were in complaining mode, but now we are not in complaining mode anymore. At least I could talk about this 8 schools, all of us. We are not in complaining mode anymore. We sit down, if there's any problem, we'll not straight away start doing that blame game kind of thing. We used to do that. I think we do it, all of us. But now we sit down and then we think and go into the core of the problem and then try to do something by ourselves. And if it is absolutely out of our hand, then only we go out and ask for help from other people, maybe outside agencies and all. But otherwise, we try to solve our problem with ourselves. So that is the biggest learning, and I think that's the core of what I have learned from people. Thank you.
Let me get one more question back. Last question.
We have time for one more question.
What the school principal present there, it seems they have gained a lot of experience. They are really grow up professionally. And in the process, I'm very curious to know some questions, because when we were the school principal, during those days, there were no any program project as such called equip, because we'll have to do whatever little brain we have to use and have to manage the staff efficiently. This is how we have done in those days. Now, after getting a lot of experience, at the moment, I'm very much curious to know from them. At the moment, for the department, since I'm in the department, I'm very curious to know from your end that what is the most important area which needs to be focused by the department at the moment, that which is the area where everybody, which is the most priority, according to the priority basis, what do you suggest that this is the area where everybody has to introspect and do some changes? I would like to know from you. Thank you.
I think the principals have a great opportunity.
Actually, this is something that we keep discussing also during in our group learning sessions. And I think whatever we learn and whatever we do is actually, revolves around this. So we were also, like both of us, I think we, thinking in the same time when we say that teaching learning. Because teachers, and I think a few months back we were talking about this, that in 8 equipped schools we are working so hard. I mean, we have got support, we have got everything, but in spite of that, we are not able to reach. We are not able to do as much as we want to. Although, again, I could say that changes do not happen overnight. But then we are very concerned about, again, teaching learning, because there was a survey, a test done in all the 8 schools on the lines of SCERT by SCERT. And there we have seen that there has been some improvement in subjects like mathematics, English, and science, etc. in these subjects. But still a lot has to be done there. And maybe more teachers should be, I think, more development of teachers, professional development of teachers. I think it is required. Not the conventional ones where, like it was said, maths teacher is being sent for social science or social science. Not like that, but really, if school is, all the schools are not taken as a whole. Every school has their own problems when we talk about teaching learning problems. So, taking schools as, individual entities and then catering to our needs based on, what our feedback. If HRD is able to do that, maybe then it will be, more custom made for us. So that might be helpful.
What I have understood is training of teachers still.
Training, in a sense that training is happening. I'm not saying that training is not
Let's
happening.
think of other factors also, and let me know the priority.
And one more thing on teaching learning. The main thing is, it is a bit out of our area. What is happening is, the reason why there is so much, not much improvement in learning, I might say, is because the students that we have, most of them are first generation learners, and something, where parental intervention is required. Parental intervention in a sense that, they should also be very, very aware of what is happening in the schools. When the students, why they are not performing well, or if they are performing well, that also they should be aware of. So somewhere I think the department is doing its best by giving all sort of support. The schools are doing their best by, really working on the children. But I think more of community health and more of parental, something has to be done in that also. That sense also.
Thank you.
Besides only having training, if the teachers come back after the training and a sort of academic counselors are there to monitor the classroom teaching, I think that would be more helpful also, because always we are not there to monitor the teachers, like whether they have been doing what has been trained in the training. So I think if there's someone to monitor them and see, then I think it would be more helpful.
I'm just taking the liberty of sharing something, a very similar question that was asked in the context of Delhi government schools. And one of the things that we found very useful there was where the department people were involved in attending the group learning sessions. So coming and being a part of the group learning sessions along with the principals will give a lot of insight into the kind of challenges, also the kind of solutions that they are actually, like ma'am said, at the individual level, at the contextual level of the school that's happening. Building that connect in the groups itself. So I invite you, sir, to please come and attend the sessions. And I think a lot of insight will be coming out of there. Okay, thank you so much. I think Yangden very beautifully summed up the session. I remember listening to a speaker once who said that, you know, whatever you practice, you get better at that. And like she said, I think the practice has been of finding solutions, feeling happy, going by one's strengths, and that must be true for all of us. So thank you very much for being a part of this discussion, and best wishes to all of you. Thank you.